Welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm your guest host, Jamie Mejia. The Latino Youth for Higher Education is an organization that is dedicated to improving the quality of education among low-income students, especially Latino students. Today on the Bronx Journal, we have the organization's executive director, John Moreno. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Jamie, for having us.
So what's the idea behind this program?
Well, what we're trying to do with this program is trying to open the mind of some students, particularly Latinos. They're undocumented and documented. They've been in the United States for less than 5 years to understand there is a possibility of going to college. So we work with the specific communities in the Bronx and in Queens to give them the overall of how to apply to college, how to apply for financial aid, how to socialize in this environment. They new for the country, so they have to know how how the city just is not just about their block or 2 blocks. It's more like the city in Times Square. The city is going to the museums. The city is going to different public places. And some of these students that come from another countries and they've been here for less than 5 years don't have the opportunities when they come. There is nobody who tells you, you have the opportunity to go to college, you have the opportunity to socialize with other people. The diversity of the city is something they have to take advantage of. So that's what we're trying to do.
So when do you decided to start this program? How did it all happen?
It is actually a good question because we were a bunch of students from Baruch College, part of the CUNY system, and we decided that many of our friends were left behind because of the papers. Some of them were undocumented. They couldn't actually do what they graduate for, like people who graduated with finance and investments and minor in French, and they couldn't actually do anything because after the graduation they couldn't work because they didn't have a social security number. That was one of the issues that helped us to see undocumented students as something that we have to help. And then we came from different communities, especially the Bronx, which has in the area that we are has a particular bunch of families that come from a really low income background. So what we're trying to do is try to tackle those issues with the opportunity to go to college. So how we do that is we help them to understand that college is possible. And that's mainly how the idea came out. We went to the community. We see how these students were having problems in getting to college, dropout rates, problems with the community violence, and try to engage them in different activities in which they feel comfortable. And that's how we came with the idea of creating this program.
But how do you find these students? Like, what do you tell them? What are the process that you take to help them become a better person?
So right now we are working in 2 Pan-American institutions, and just to do a parenthesis, a Pan-American institution is a charter school. They started 2 years ago in the United States. There's just 2 schools, 2 high schools in New York. There's one in Queens, there's another one in the Bronx, and they call the Pan-American model. It was something that was funded by the Department of Education of the United States and the Gates Foundation, and they gather a bunch of academic people from the academia. They put some of the funders to see how they could have high schools that have the common language, in this case is Spanish, and succeed to go to college and go through the system of the education in New York. So we work with those students particularly, and what we do is that we go to their high schools, we do different activities. We go from tutoring to mentoring to college workshops with them, but not just to the students. And I want to be clear on that. We work with the parents because we think that the parents are the most important part of our program. The parents don't know where the kids stand when they're in high school, and we found that ourselves. Many of our funders and volunteers have that idea of, my parent didn't know how I got into college. My dad never helped me to apply for financial aid. So how I could make sure that my parent helps me to go to college. And one of our key things for the last year, it's been targeting these parents. We have the option, we have the impression of thinking that the parents work two jobs, that they babysitting, that they don't have time, but they do have time.
And excuse me, these parents, do they actually pay attention, or they interested in knowing what their kids have to go through to enter a university or college?
Yeah, it is funny because we had that impression at the beginning that they were not, they were not happy with getting information from us about college. But we find out after we reach out to them that we have a really big turnout in different events, that we have workshops with the parents. And we not just, Jamie, do workshops towards college, but we help them to improve their lives. So we give workshops in educating about budgeting, educating about computers, how to set up an email, how to browse the websites, how to go to Google, and things that really enhance their lives, so they don't feel like they have to keep having their own jobs. They could do their resumes. And they could actually, at the same time they're getting that information, they could get information about college and their kids. So when you get that hook of giving them something extra, then the parent becomes more aware of the importance of college.
Are these parents, do they try to get interested in doing it for themselves, not just for their kids?
Exactly. They just see that they could also go to college, for example. If they want to have maybe a little degree in 2 years, an associate, they see it as a possibility because they now know how to work a computer, they know how to budget. So they could maybe go with those tools and see, like, maybe I like computers, maybe I like accounting, maybe I want to do an associate's degree, maybe I want to get my GED done because my son is doing the high school and he's going to college. So it's another way of giving them the tools so they feel how the kids feel, and that makes them more aware of the situation.
Right.